Do y'all remember when renting video games was a thing? Nothing said being a kid in the 90s and 2000s like going to a Blockbuster or a movie gallery in my case, and renting video games or consoles if you needed them. I rented games like GTA San Andreas, Dragon Ball Budokai 2, Test Drive Unlimited, and at some time or another, I ended up getting these games. But one game I rented that I never got was Star Fox Assault, at least until this video. My introduction into Star Fox was through Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube, and to be honest, he's still my favorite character to use today. I'm not completely sure why Fox caught my attention. I believe it was through his design and moveset, how quick and agile he was. I put in a lot of work with Fox. When I found out that a new Star Fox game was being released, it piqued my interest, enough to where I wanted to try the game out and see if I liked it. And back then, I remember it being fun, but also a little bit hard, a little frustrating at times, and I don't think I ended up beating it. I think that may be one of the reasons why I never got it. On top of that, I ended up getting a Wii and 360 a little while later, so I wasn't too focused on GameCube games at that point. However, while looking for video ideas for the channel, this game popped back into my mind and I thought, yeah, let's go for it. So for this video guys, let's talk about Star Fox Assault. Star Fox was revealed at E3 2003, and apparently the montage of the game wasn't received that well, and I understand why. The game looked unfinished in the video, which makes sense. This game wouldn't be released until 2005, so it needed more time to cook in the oven, and that was after a 4-month delay. Thankfully, the finished version came out a lot better. Now this game isn't perfect, there is some bull that comes with this game, but we'll get into that. Let's discuss the story. After the defeat of Andross, Andross's nephew Andrew Oikonie takes control of his remaining troops and starts a rebellion. General Pepper orders an attack on Oikonie's forces and hires the Star Fox team, consisting of Fox McCloud, Slippy Toad, Falco Lombardi, who has come back to the team. He left the team after the events of Star Fox 64, but before Star Fox Adventures, to do his own thing. There's a manga about it called Farewell Beloved Falco that fills in the 4-year time frame between the two games. You can find the pages of the manga online. It was never dubbed, so I don't understand a thing, but I did find a dubbed video version of it on YouTube. There's a link up top and in the description if you're interested. If there's another Star Fox game, it would be awesome if this could be incorporated somehow. Star Fox also gained a new member in Crystal from Star Fox Adventures. She has taken the place of Peppy Hare, who retired after 64. He now provides tactical support alongside Rob. Star Fox assists the Cornerian army and helps push back Oikonie's forces, causing him to retreat to Fortuna. After fighting through the monkey's base, you can intercept the man himself, who converts his ship into a mech with arms, and I'm sorry, I can't take this guy serious. I gotta admit, he's no slouch. He has an impressive setup here, but it's just his voice. I want to take this nerd down a peg.
Watch your mouth! I'll show you!
Which does happen, but what happens after that is unexpected. As Oikonie is hyping himself up as the next emperor, he gets wasted by an energy beam, and it's here where the true enemy of this game shows itself. This is an Aperoid. They're essentially an insect mech hybrid species who has the ability to take over other machinery and other people. We'll get into that in a bit, but for now you have to fight this mecha moth, and after wasting it, you grab the core memory from it before backup arrives. All of this is explained by Slippy's dad Beltino. Fearing an invasion, he asks Star Fox to recover an undamaged core, so that way they can find a way to stop the Aperoids. General Pepper chimes in and mentions a distress signal has been sent from a base on Cantina. The team is sent out to find the SOS, and yeah, this place is overrun with Aperoids, but it's okay because we have heat. This is the first game where Fox can be on foot, in an R-Wing, and the Landmaster. Sometimes you switch between all three in the same level. The first part of this mission has you taking out Aperoid hatchers. Take that out and that gets the attention of an Aperoid ship that reminds me of a Scarab from Halo for some reason. After defeating it, we find out the distress signal was sent by Pigma Dengar, who takes the memory core of the Aperoid Scarab you beat down. Pigma was a member of the original Star Fox team alongside Fox's dad James and Peppy. He ended up betraying the two and lured them into a trap for Andross. Unfortunately, only Peppy made it out alive. He was also a member of Star Wolf, but I guess he's rolling solo now. Greed motivates this man like no other, and now you have to hunt the pig down, which leads the gang to a space station in the Sargasso space zone. Pigma is believed to be hiding there, but things hit the fan pretty quick. The local gang has zeroed in on the team and they're ready to scrap. Apparently the leader of the hideout is Fox's rival Wolf O'Donnell, so we're really not welcome here. They're using transfer devices to access the hideout and have launched an aerial attack outside the base. This mission requires some dexterity as you're fighting on two different fronts. Your main goal is to secure the hideout, and that means destroying the transporters within the hideout, but getting to these can be annoying. At the top of certain ramps, there are machines that spit out explosive barrels. After getting knocked off and hit one too many times, I got smart. I grabbed a sniper rifle and I started picking these off before I tried to climb the ramps. Slippy is in here shooting at degenerates too. He doesn't help much, but it's cool to see him. You can't spend too much time in here as the might meter up top will rise, meaning that more thugs have arrived, so from time to time, you'll have to hop in the R-Wing and clear some of them out. After you take out the transporters, you'll get a visit from a familiar face. It's Wolf, and he's joined by Leon Pawlowski and new member Panther Carcoso, who replaced Pigma and Oinkiny. Fox will ask Wolf about Pigma, but Wolf said he doesn't know anything about him. He's just being coy at the moment, plus he's pissed that we've assaulted his base, so now you have to run a 3-on-3. After duking it out for a while, you finally get it out of Wolf that Pigma was kicked out of the gang. Now the question is, where did the Pigman go? Panther has taken a liking to Crystal and more than willing to spill that Pigma was heading towards Fachina. And this planet has issues. On top of the aperoids, the weather control tower is out of order, so you have to get that back online, risking your life getting out of the control tower because the security system is malfunctioning. I do like wing routing with Falco and just shooting stuff. If I remember, you don't have to reload these guns so you can just blast away, and it's really satisfying. But we're not done here just yet, oh no, because then you gotta deal with the control tower generator, because the walking pork chop decided to use the aperoid's power to turn it into a walking tank. And Pigma is really messing with power that's better left alone. This type of thing never ends well. This battle is a bit different because you have a certain amount of time to destroy the tower before it self-destructs. We stopped the generator, but things are about to get disturbing. It seems that machinery ain't the only thing that the aperoids can't control.
Was I just talking in my sleep? No, I won't turn a profit by obeying them.
This ain't gonna be good. Pigma hightails it to an asteroid belt, and after you get past the aperoids in the space station, you stumble upon Pigma's ship just drifting in space. Yeah, Pigma is gone. His greed in the end was his downfall, and now he's been assimilated into this aperoid Death Star, and I was getting my ass kicked at first. It's not the hardest boss, I just had to get the timing right. Eventually, Death Pigma will start firing a giant mouth laser, avoid that and hit him in the face a few more times and you'll beat him. This ends up killing him, but I would like to think that that would be better than being a tool for twisted aliens, so I believe I did him a favor. After dealing with Pigma, Starfox makes the trip to Saria, which is being invaded by the aperoids. This is a mission where you're on foot, in the Landmaster, and in the R-Wing. You may have to save Slippy and Falco at a point, but the objective is straightforward. We're destroying more hatchers. I love that they added this world to the game. This was the main world from Star Fox Adventures, and it's fitting that Crystal is on the ground fighting the space bugs. Again, like Slippy, she's confined to one area, but still. The end of this mission is more memorable, as you get to see Fox and Crystal reunite with Tricky, now a teenager. She questions them about returning to Saria for a honeymoon, which flusters Fox and Crystal just laughs. I could imagine this being a real feel-good moment for those who played Adventures. But fun times are over because while we were on Saria, the aperoids invaded Corneria. And I don't really care for this mission for one reason. These black arms looking radar jammers. They're higher in the air than you would think, and I spent so long looking for the last two. The radar doesn't tell you whether something is above or below you, so you'll be running around confused as to where certain targets are. After you take care of the jammers, you reach your R-Wing, but that gets destroyed in an ambush, and as we're about to get skinned alive, Starwolf comes through with the save. If anyone's gonna kill Fox, it's Wolf. They help the gang deal with the aperoids. You have another wing riding section, but it's a bit harder this time as you have to deal with aerial threats. But you'll have to deal with aerial threats, but there are also ground enemies who will lock onto the Wolfen. These anti-air aperoids will do a lot of damage, so you have to make sure to take them out. That problem gets dealt with, but things are about to get real. General Pepper's flagship has been contaminated by the aperoids, but through sheer willpower, Pepper pleads for him to be destroyed, so Fox has to make the hard choice of destroying the general's ship. Stakes aside, this fight is pretty fun as you can just pump bullets into this aperoid Gundam, and don't worry about the general, he's okay. Stubborn old dog, but I'm glad he made it out. But they wouldn't mess with the general, y'all, so now it's time for payback. Now Tino has come up with a way to defeat the aperoids. The aperoids carry genes that makes them vulnerable to apoptosis. Basically, it's the process of programmed cell death. Since the aperoids operate off a hive mind mentality, as in there's a queen that commands the lesser aperoids, Beltino got the idea of creating an anti-aperoid program bomb that would destroy the whole species if fired into the aperoid queen. However, the creation of a program like this is going to take some time, and because they would, the aperoids responded with a full-scale assault on Beltino's orbital gate. They're launching huge-ass missiles at this gate, and Fox has to destroy them before they reach it. Luckily, we have reinforcements in Starwolf. During the chaos, Beltino and the Federation scientists were able to finish the program, and now all that's left is to use the gate to shoot over to the aperoid homeworld. And oh, their planet looks much better than I thought it would. The goal is to get into the interior of the planet and reach the Queen, but first Fox has to disable the shield that protects the entrance. And I have a love-hate relationship with this mission. I love the flying portion of it, and loathe the on-foot portion. Your main goal is to enter the aperoid chambers and destroy the hatchers to bring the shield down. For the flying portion, you fly around the underside of the base and take those out. Certain enemies in this mission irked me, mainly the ones that shot out black hole energy blast. I know I could roll out the way, but I forgot that I could roll at the time, so that's more on me, but that doesn't take away from the fact that these things are annoying. I eventually got used to fighting them and they became less of a problem, but it took a while to get there. I also died fighting this lightning ball. I have no excuse for this one, I just wasn't thinking. And this tank enemy wasn't too bad. I started the fight from long range, so the fights were a whole lot easier. We destroyed the hatchers, but now the aperoids are attacking the Great Fox. So Peppy and Rob sacrificed themselves and create an opening for the game to get inside the planet. That is one hardcore rabbit. But no time for emotions. It's time to finish the job. And look who's here. Wolf and his crew managed to slip in through the gate, and now we have enough backup to take on the Queen. Right? Okay, y'all. This final mission is hard. There's a lot of enemies in this mission, but it's not the enemies that mainly frustrated me. It's the obstacles. It only took me 2 tries to complete this mission on my second attempt, but on my first try, it took me about 6 or 7 tries. What will really trip you up is timing when you need to slow down and when you should gun it around obstacles. Sometimes it seems like they come out of nowhere, and when it happens you have little time to react. Adding to that, figuring out where you are when coming up on obstacles is imperative, such as flying through the honeycomb shield. If you hit too many of these hazards, you'll be saying hi to James before you know it. Saving your friends is important because they can save you from having to complete an entire section. If only you had more time in some instances, but more on that later. Anyway, after you get through hell, you reach the Queen. She was like a giant moth demon, but she's going to try and play with the gang's minds by trying to convince them that the aperoids are not their enemies. They know it's a trick, but they've been through some things. They've seen friends blown up, controlled, dads dying, but Fox remembers what Wolf told him earlier and just act. So now it's time to kill this abomination. The first phase isn't that hard. The Queen has a weak point on her stomach that you'll have to shoot at, but she'll spin around and sometimes launch energy waves at you. This wasn't too bad. You have to get her energy low enough and then you can launch the program into her. This didn't work. She was able to suppress it somehow and now she's mad. She's trying to escape and the gang needs to go after her and kill her before she creates an antibody for the program. So here we are, y'all, the final battle. The first phase isn't that horrible. You have to shoot the 4 pink areas on the Queen, and once you shoot all of those, she turns into a werewolf dragon thing, and this is where it gets tricky. She's scared of us at this point, so this woman is throwing everything along with the kitchen sink. And yeah, you may die here. There's mines, pink lasers of doom, energy rings that remind you of Lucio, another energy attack, another energy beam, not to mention she'll swing her head in like god damn. All you'll have to target at this point is the eye looking thing on the Queen. Hit it enough times and you'll defeat her. Suffer in hell, Queen, no one will miss you. Afterwards, the game will talk about the Queen for a second and then hightail it out of there as the planet's destructing around them. The credits roll, thus ending the story. But after the credits, we get a better ending with Peppy surviving the crash. He and Rob managed to get out of there before the Great Fox exploded. It's believed that Starwolf also made it out. We don't see them at this point, and I don't know how much Star Fox Command is related to this game, so I hope so. Beef aside, they did help us out a lot. But that's the story, guys. Gameplay elements aside, I enjoyed this story a lot. I think I truly got hooked when Pigma got assimilated. I was like, oh, they can control people too? The game took a darker turn at that point, and it fueled me to want to take out the Queen even more. And I do like darker elements in games like this, and Star Fox to me is a series that can do these darker elements, but that's enough about the story. Let's get more into the gameplay and what I like and dislike about it. I'll go ahead and say it. This is where I have issues with this game. Let's talk about ground combat. To put it simply, Fox moves like a tank. It's not the worst thing, it's still fun to shoot stuff, but it's a pain when you have to turn and kill enemies. I mentioned earlier that I had forgotten about the roll. On lower difficulties, you can get by without it, but on higher difficulties, you may want to use it more often. You start with a standard blaster, but you can develop a killer arsenal by grabbing sniper rifles, grenades, and rocket launchers. There's also a machine gun for when you need to shred something, and even a barrier for extra defense. It's fun running around and killing things until you're looking for an enemy and you can't tell where they are. Your map isn't good at telling you whether an enemy is above or below you, and Corneria is annoying because of this. The Landmaster controls just fine, but I did have the same issues with trying to shoot aerial targets. Look at my attempt to help Slippy on Katina. I was really struggling. One of my bigger gripes is that it's extremely hard to save your teammates at times. Here is a great example. You have about 8 seconds to save Falco before he and the Aproids fly away. Why is this window so short? I barely had time to get my bearings coming around that last corner. You want to save these guys as much as possible because they will reward you for doing so. It's usually here in Slippy on Katina where I have issues, but most of the time to save everyone was fair. As far as the R-Wing, I feel like I would have to play other Star Fox games to properly judge how each one compares to the others. Save for the Landmaster, but overall, I think the R-Wing controls pretty good. Evasive maneuvers like the barrel roll felt effective. I love using the charge shot and bombs to take out stronger enemies, or when I want to be lazy and nuke somebody. Most of my issues were either from stage hazards or came from my own carelessness. Star Fox Assault for me was a game that I meant to come back to for years, and now that I finally did, do I have the same opinions as I did back then? Well, yeah, for the most part. I remember the game being fun, but hard and frustrating at times, and that's still true, but this game has a charm that makes it an overall good experience. Is this game better than Star Fox 64? Most people would probably say no, but part of me does like that this was my first experience with Star Fox. I can talk about this game on its own merits, rather than comparing it to the expectations set by previous titles. Assault combines elements of 64 and adventures while adding something new of its own, and despite its flaws, being able to play 3 different gameplay styles is still awesome and fun. If you haven't played this game before, I suggest giving it a try. You may enjoy it. Thank you for watching, guys. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
DJ Sonic Freak.